But right now I'm going to introduce David Larkin is sitting next to me. He's the senior professor in the, and I want to get your title, it's the Advanced Manufacturing Technology?
Program, yes.
Program, right. Over at Hudson Valley. And with him we have Wynn Kintz. He's I'm sure you don't even know, there's a plastics company, a manufacturing company right in Howes Cave. I was not aware of it, and I'm learning a lot more about it, and they're big, so we're going to be talking about this wonderful connection. And I'm going to ask, Wynn and David, how did this come about? How did you decide to work together?
Basically, in 1991, I cold called Wynn and
cold calls. Sometimes they work, right?
That's right. Sometimes they work, and asked him if he'd like to be part of our program up at Hudson Valley. And Wynn stepped right up to the plate and has been there ever since for us. And go ahead.
Well, in our business, the manufacturing business, we require employees to be able to read and interpret blueprints.
They need to be skilled.
Need to be skilled, and Dave provides the skills that we need. And I would say that probably 50% of our current employees have been through his program.
Is that right? Yeah. Well, you really did provide a service.
Yeah, we provide a service for a lot of companies. For instance, 40% of the General Electric workforce, the skilled workforce, came through our program at Steam Turbine. Waterfleet Arsenal, the bulk of their workforce came through our program. And a lot of companies, Simmons Machine Tool, Kintz Plastics, Package One right here in Schenectady, the bulk of their employees came through our program.
Because to have a trained employee, I mean, it used to be, the GE used to have their own training programs.
Yes.
And I think those have gone by the wayside.
Right.
They don't occur anymore. And we're finding that the community colleges are stepping up to provide that education. And there's BOCES, of course, in the high school arena. Mm-hmm. But then we have to go beyond that.
Yes.
And to get more the skills out there.
Yeah, what we found is there's certain companies right now, and Wynn and Simmons Machine Tool down in Albany, they need the skilled employees.
They want them up and running.
They want you to hit the ground running. Mm-hmm. A lot of companies are to the point where, for instance, General Electric pays books, tuition, and fees, and full-time wages to send their machinist trainees to Hudson Valley Community College full-time for 2 years.
Wow.
So
they want them trained properly.
They want them trained properly.
Yeah.
One of our biggest problems is, and Wynn's aware of this, we cannot produce enough people out of our program, and that's why Hudson Valley has undertaken a building program to erect and furnish a new $14 million facility over in Hudson Valley Community College.
All right, now some people might be watching right now thinking, that might be a great program to get into and maybe get a job with Kintz afterwards. But what would the qualifications have to be to enter this program? Could I enter this program? Who could enter this?
Anybody can enter the program, because we start from scratch. We don't assume you know anything. In fact, sometimes...
Do they need a math background?
High school math.
Okay.
High school
that's
math.
it? Okay.
Yes. So you're still going to have to take your algebra and trigonometry and geometry.
That would be a leg up if you had that.
Right, and you're going to, for instance, Wynn's company has 30 CNC machines, computerized numerical control machines. So they'll learn how to program these machines. But you have, like Wynn says, you have to be able to read blueprints, interpret blueprints, be a problem solver, critical thinking skills. And these are the things we teach at Hudson Valley.
All right. Now, I was going to say, I know that you have some photos, so let's talk through some of these photos.
The first photo here is, for instance, on May 12th of this year, we have an annual capstone ceremony where students build working models from scratch. And all these models are sponsored by local companies throughout the area and across the United States.
Okay.
I think we just saw Wynn there. And Wynn's been a big, for instance, I'll just give you an example this year. We're making a World War II set of models, tanks. And Kintz Plastics, Wynn has supplied us with 18 covers. The covers, now this is free to Hudson Valley Community College.
You're a supporter, right, Wynn?
Yes, ma'am.
Cost $18,000
Wow.
that Mr. Kintz provided
Yeah,
for
yeah.
free.
Now the tanks, of course, the tanks were made, many of the tanks were made here in Alco, the Sherman tanks and many of those.
In fact, one was a Sherman tank.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and what we find is we cannot, at Hudson Valley, we cannot survive without sponsors like Kintz Plastic, Simmons Machine Tool. In fact, we got $1 million donation from the Gene Haas Foundation in California to seed the money for this new building we're trying to build.
Wonderful, wonderful. Can we talk a little bit about Kintz Plastics? What do you make? I mean, you know, we think about plastics and we think about, oh yeah, I got this little widget here and this is plastic. Tell us what yours is more sophisticated.
We are plastic thermoformers. We heat sheets in the oven and then we make parts out of the sheets. Biomedical is our biggest field. If you've had an MRI or a CAT scan, the chances are our cover were on that machine.
Ah, okay.
So it's primarily biomedical in nature.
Okay.
We've got about 85 people. Most of them are local. We get some folks from Albany and Schenectady, but we are the largest private employer in Schoharie County.
Yeah, that's wonderful, really, because we need more manufacturing in this country. We do. And, you know, we have the I want to say manpower, but person power, I guess is what I really want to say, that we do have the people to do it. They just need to be trained.
Right. For instance, people think manufacturing, we produce less. Actually, in the United States, we produce more than we ever
Yeah,
have.
I know.
We just do it with less people.
Different, yeah. That's right.
And
because they're doing a lot of robotics.
Right. Well, robotics, using computerized machines.
Yeah.
Years ago, a person could go through their entire career and know have 3 or 4 skills. Today, an employer like Kintz Plastics wants somebody with hundreds of skills. They can do everything: quality, machining.
Well, you want to cross training. I worked in the industry with the pharmaceutical industry, and over at Sterling Drug, and you want to try and get people cross trained so that they can do a number of things, and you know it's important.
Precisely.
Exactly.
Yeah. How many people do you employ in
We've
general?
got about 85.
85 people. Good. Now, are you kind of do you guarantee you will hire people from this program, or because there are so many employers that are looking for your scholars, your students, that there's not a problem? Is this like 100% they can get jobs?
Just 90%, over 90% of our students have jobs prior to graduation.
Oh, okay.
Prior to graduation. A lot of companies now are taking the tact of hiring students, picking students before they get into Hudson Valley, putting them in Hudson Valley, giving them part-time jobs during their training, full-time when they're not in school, and hire them full-time at graduation.
Yeah.
And that's, companies call me up all the time and say, hey Dave, we need 2 of your best students. My 2 best students this year were hired 2 years ago. So.
Isn't that incredible?
Right.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, this is really so exciting for me to see that we're putting skills to work. In other words, a lot of people go to college to get an education, which is fine. I'm not saying that. But it's nice to know you've got a job that's coming out of this education.
Well, actually, a lot of our students, and we can back this up, actually with a 2-year degree, they earn more money and are more employable than people with 4-year degrees.
Yeah.
We like to bring guidance counselors through the plant. I know that they like to put people in Ivy League schools, but when they see what some of these kids are making and quality of the work that they're doing, manufacturers is a good area to be in.
It's a very laudable profession to get into some of these areas, and I know that it feels good when you see a finished product come out.
When people talk about manufacturing, they say, we don't manufacture anything anymore. And my retort is, look around you, point out one thing that's not manufactured.
Yeah.
Everything is manufactured.
Yeah. And you know, when you get something manufactured, look to see where it's made and support the American companies, right?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
you should say on there, made in America.
Oh,
made in the
yes.
USA.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
We still make very high quality. The United States is more into high quality, high end equipment.
Yeah.
We're not into making widgets anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what the United States should strive
And that's
for.
what's being made elsewhere. the
Elsewhere,
widgets,
and
yeah.
those jobs aren't coming back.
Yeah, no.
But there's many more jobs available for high end industries like Kintz Plastics.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
We are very sort of proud to say that we export to China. We have some products going to China. So
Well,
that's-
how about that?
It's unusual.
So there is a trade deficit? No?
Well,
Not Kintz Plastics.
that's right.
I want to thank both of these gentlemen for being here. Wynn Kintz, who is with Kintz Plastics, and also David Larkin, who is senior professor for the Advanced Manufacturing Program Technology Program over at Hudson Valley. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
And telling us what you're doing. You're walking the walk, and that's what I want to see.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.